Welcome to Double Fries, No Slaw. It is Sunday evening, August 15th. Richie, we are 3 weeks from kickoff, 21 days away. I feel like usually the summer drags and it takes forever to kind of get to football season, but this has been the fastest one ever. I don't know if it's like the pandemic or just like, I don't know what it's been. Maybe it's just been there's news every week and we're recruiting our tails off and everything else. But how you doing, man? How was your weekend?
Good. I can't complain. Yeah, typically, going back to my college and high school days, we always had the release of NCAA football to kind of get us through mid-July to the season. And I know you've been doing playing Florida State's schedule, posting all the video and recap on doublefriesnoslaw.com, which is awesome. But yeah, man, I had a great weekend. Went out and played golf yesterday. 60% chance of rain, and we got a complete round in with no issues at all. Just hanging out with the wife at the house today. She put me to work because we have our fantasy football draft next weekend and have multiple people coming into town to stay with us. And I'm surprised she even allows that to happen. So I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Pretty good. We've had a busy weekend. We went to my niece's first birthday party yesterday, not last week. And then we we went to church this morning, and then I spent all day trying to get our house ready. We're trying to sell our house. So we had an offer accepted on a new house that we're going to be moving to in about a month and a half. And so we're trying to get our house ready to list. And so it's been a busy weekend. So it's going to be a busy few weeks. And it's going to get crazy around here, and then all kind of culminating with hanging out with you guys in Tallahassee, which would be a ton of fun.
Yeah. Getting a new house, man. How much Guthrie's money are you withholding from me here? You're sitting here putting bids on new houses. I'm just trying to get my AC fixed over here.
Dude, what sucks is I'm still paying on the AC that I bought, so I have to pay that off too. But we got lucky. We heard that the house was going to go on the market. It was in a neighborhood that we really wanted to be in. Big pool, big yard for the kids. And we reached out to the realtor before it went on the market, and they let us come look at it, and we put an offer in. It never hit the market, so we didn't have any competition. They took our offer. We got really lucky with that.
Lucky,
so because
someone would have offered more than you did.
I got beat out by twice. I got beat out twice. So offered $20,000 over twice and got beat out. So anyway, yeah, it's ridiculous out there. So we're glad that that's happening. But like I said, yeah, we're trying to fix up the house. We're trying to list it. We're trying to sell it. My daughter's birthday is in like a week, or her birthday party's in 6 days. Her birthday's in like 10 days. We got the games coming up and everything. Like, it's just going to be a wild month and a half. But
yeah, we're about October, 19 days in Tallahassee, man. I am excited to get up there. We got a lot going on that weekend.
By October, we'll be thankful for all this stuff. But yeah, we do have a lot going up in Tallahassee. Obviously, we'll shout out Guthrie's. Visit both their locations. Double Fries No Slaw brought to you by Guthrie's, 1818 West Tennessee and 2550 North Monroe. Appreciate their support. I don't want to say anything too quick about this, but we've talked with a lot of people. Harlan just asked if the new house has a man cave. It kind of does. Like, I'm working on that. But what I'll say is, like, it's not just like, a lot of times there's a pool and then just like a screened in patio just around the pool that's like a foot on each side. Like, it's a massive patio deck area that's going to, like, I've already gotten full approval from the wife
to put like there and everything.
3 TVs, one big one and 2 small ones. Like, yeah, Saturdays and Sundays at the Pinger house are going to be lit, bro. Like, she gets the whole house to decorate. So like the man cave's kind of outside.
If you were 90 miles away, I'd have to come down for a weekend. But,
I mean, just come over for a Saturday whenever you have the Bucks game the next day. I mean, you're a season ticket holder. Like, I'm right next to it. I literally live off the same road that the Bucks play on. It's just like 10 miles north, or 15. So anyway, back to Tallahassee. We definitely have some exciting stuff going on up there. I'm excited to getting up there on Friday. We've joked with a lot of coaches and a lot of different people about Richie maybe doing some competing while we're up there. And some of that stuff seems to be coming to fruition. So I don't want to announce anything just yet. I don't want to say that anything's a done deal yet. Got to work a couple things out, but seems like some of those things are going to come to fruition. What we're trying to do with it is not only embarrass Richie, but what would be really cool is if we could raise some money for charity and doing it. And so maybe for every competition that Richie partakes in, if he's able to partake in any, maybe we could have people pledge, $5, $5 to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, or which is what Coach Bowden wanted money donated to, or $5 to the boosters, or heck, I'll give it to a local elementary school. I really don't care, but I think it'd be cool if we're going to embarrass Richie to do some good with it at the same time. So nothing finalized just yet, but some things are moving in the right direction. Hopefully we'll have an update for you next week. Are you nervous about any of it, or what are your thoughts?
I am extremely nervous about everything that's been proposed, and I'm much more nervous about how quickly people are getting back to us saying, yes, we want to do this, because they know this is going to be an easy W for them. But, it's, if people remember the old Pros versus Joes, it's going to be something similar to that. But I'm just looking for what I love about this podcast is getting to know all these coaches and our current student athletes. And, some of the people, tentatively that we have scheduled that I will be competing against have come on this show before and been very supportive of us. So we want to, give back to them as well. And like you said, give to a good cause. So, it'll be, people are going to get good laughs regardless, because I'm willingly going to put a lot of embarrassing film of myself out there from that weekend. But I think all in all, it's going to be a blast. If we're going to have a good time with everyone that's involved.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Not quite as much as I'm looking forward to that game, and we'll get into kind of like what's going on with Florida State football here in just a few minutes. But we'll start here. We obviously did our entire show last week around Coach Bowden, our thoughts on him. We scrapped a couple of interviews. One of those interviews is taking place tonight. But we scrapped our interviews. We scrapped everything we were going to talk about and just kind of like dedicated the show to Coach Bowden. Obviously, a lot of thoughts there, and it was a tough show to do, but we got really good feedback on it. And so I'm glad that we did it. I'm not sure that there was anything else that we could have really talked about. But yesterday was Coach's Memorial Services at the Tucker Center Friday. He was at the Moore Center. So Friday he was actually at the Capitol, wasn't he? And then Saturday at the Moore Center, and then over at the Tucker Center. So Richie, I'll shut up and let you talk about it. We both obviously, just everybody that we know is kind of like watching the coverage, but thoughts around the coverage and yesterday's services, ceremonies, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so I was playing golf yesterday. I got home around 3:00 or so, and the first thing I told Lindsay, my wife, is, "Are you ready to watch the service?" Because I knew I wanted to watch it. So we watched it as soon as I got home, and it was. I thought they did a phenomenal job. Everything, I thought, work done was phenomenal. Derek Brooks, Charlie Ward. I know Dion couldn't make it. But Derek Brooks gave a great story from Dion right before delivering his remarks. I thought that was really cool. And I love that they incorporated the Chiefs into it, and seeing, Ann, and then, Jimbo was there, Mark Richt, Kirk Herbstreit, just the who's who of college football all showed up to pay their respects to Coach. There was definitely some tears during the, watching the rerun of it. I'll tell you what, my wife, she's a crier though, but she was just nonstop crying because she never had the chance to meet Coach Bowden like I did. But she hears my stories and my passion about it. And I think that played a big role to her. And I thought they did justice to him. I want to try and find video of his service from Sanford today that they had there. I saw a couple people on the timeline actually attended it, which was really cool. But just an amazing tribute to an amazing man, and it was great to watch it. It was very cathartic, if anything else.
Yeah, for sure. The couple of things that really stuck out to me was some of those last pictures of Ann and Bobby that kind of got circulated on the timeline and different places. Like, very rare for people to stay together for 7 years, let alone 70, so that was obviously awesome. And then, the other thing was at the very end, him going out to the war chant and to the entire crowd doing the chop, and and his boys and family and everybody doing the chop as well. Not, being part of it, like they had done for years and years and years. And so I don't know, we said everything we wanted to kind of say about Coach Bowden last week. So I don't want to kind of dive back into all of that stuff. We'll continue to talk about Coach Bowden on this podcast for the rest of the time that we do it. Right. But just, the services, the ceremony, whatever, was really, really well done, well put together. And like you said, just an incredible event when you really think about like who was there nationally, locally, everything. My niece's first birthday was yesterday, and Kara said, "Well, you saved yourself 8 hours of driving," because I probably would have gone if not for that. But my sister was no way letting me out of that one. So anyway, a great event and a good way to send him off for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into a whole bunch of FSU talk right now. I'm going to bring in a guest. We have, I hate this view, so I'm going to flip it deeper. We have Taylor. Taylor is a massive FSU fan, runs the Norvell Central page on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. I'm not sure if you guys have a Facebook or not, but runs it 10,000 followers or so on, on Instagram. It's really grown. I know that you're really connected in a lot of places and stuff. And so just want to kind of get your perspective on a couple of things and chat with you on it. I don't want you to feel like this is too much of an interview. So
of course,
if we're grilling you, just tell us to shut up and we'll be good. But
sure.
Anyway, what we ask everybody though, to get them into the show though, like, are you a Guthrie's guy or like, what's the, you're not in Tallahassee, but like you're in Bama, right? Like, so that's, I'm sure you have them up there, right?
Yeah, of course. We have a couple of them up here, and a lot of times when I order anything from Guthrie's, always double fries, no slaw, every time. It's just great.
Yeah, no, we like it. I have not had it in a while, just because I've been trying to get my summer bod on. But I'm excited to go grab some when we get up to Tallahassee. Hey, before we get into a bunch of FSU talk, I like to give people this opportunity. And like I said, I'll probably do this for the rest of the time that we have the podcast going. But if you want to share some quick thoughts on Coach Bowden at all, like, it can be as deep as you want it. It can be pretty light, whatever you want to say. Like, I want to give people the opportunity to talk about Coach.
Of course. It's a very sad week this week, but, it can't always be sad. You always have to remember those people that have made such a lasting impact on the university, just his fan base in general, and also his family. He has a couple of things going for him, and he always put faith first. That was one thing that he talked about is how he wanted to be home, and he was really big into Christianity, really big into his family, and he always made it a family affair. So anytime that he would meet anybody that he would barely even know, he would act like he would know you for a lifetime. When people meet Coach Bowden, they always remember who he is, always remember his smile, his insight as a person. And even though he was a great coach with 14 consecutive AP top 5 finishes between the 80s and early 2000s and everything, won two national championships for us, he was an even greater human being. And we're all sad to see him go, but we'll definitely see him again one day.
Yeah, no doubt. We talked about it last week, man. I don't know that 14 straight top 5 finishes will ever be done again. Certainly not with the playoff and everything else. Like I'd like to see where Clemson and Alabama are right now in that. Like, maybe I should look that up if I did any research.
Bama's at like 3, because I know I took the wife to the Citrus Bowl like 2 years ago, and that was the end of their run. And I think they were at 6 or 7. So. Oh
yeah, and then Clemson probably the year that they lost in the first round of the playoffs, which they could have been. No, last year they probably finished top 5, but the year they lost to Bama the first year in the playoffs, like 4 or 5 years ago. So they may be at like 4 or 5. Right. Like I have to look it up, but anyway, yeah, they're not doing 10 more. I mean, that's just not happening. So, all right. So let's just kind of do this as like a roundtable talk, like kind of give thoughts on everything. I don't want you to feel like we're grilling you on every kind of question, but we'll start out with some camp talk. Obviously I think the big thing that everybody wants to hear about and chat about, and I want to get both of you guys' thoughts, is the quarterback battle. I feel like that's kind of the, I don't know. It's probably the most important thing kind of happening around Florida State. You could argue the offensive line, but anyway, QB probably trumps that just a little bit. But Richie, let's start with you. Like, what are you hearing? What are you thinking on this quarterback battle? Some news has kind of come out, some inside reports. I don't think anything official has really happened, but talk to us about Travis and Milton.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It sounds a lot like, our first week of spring. And I do want to emphasize that we are 1 week in, right? They've only had full pads for 2 days, I believe now. They just had their first scrimmage last night. But it sounds similar to spring in that Jordan Travis is really outperforming Mackenzie Milton on a day-to-day basis. But again, we remember the spring and we heard the same reports. Then the spring game happened. And, the lights came on, and Milton was by far the best quarterback in the spring game. So it's going to be tricky, I think, for Mike Norvell. Obviously, you want to reward whoever's the best in practice, but you also want to pick the quarterback who you think gives you the best chance to win. I'm very comfortable and confident with either Milton or Travis. Honestly, I think both are more than capable of having a good season. I know someone just asked, is the Milton injury true? I know he did not participate in practice 2 days ago. I know Mike Norvell said that was kind of load management type stuff. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I continue to think if, gun to my head, I think Milton's probably the guy for Notre Dame, but Jordan Travis is right there. This is a real competition. This is not a, glorified Jameis versus Jacob Coker competition. This is a legit competition. And I'm comfortable with either one because the improvements we're hearing about Jordan Travis sounded like he's really taken that next step and he's comfortable in this offense. What about you? What are you hearing? What do you think? Or what are you seeing, Taylor?
So most of the time, what I hear, it just kind of seconds your statements a little bit. Both quarterbacks are really comfortable in the offense. Milton is really getting adjusted to the offense as it is. Travis is more along the lines of practicing better. But even going back to his UCF days with Milton, he wasn't a great practice player. When the lights come on, he's great and everything like that. But you kind of have to understand that Milton didn't come to Florida State just to sit. He really didn't. You look at Jordan Travis, he's one of the most athletic guys that we have on offense, and he isn't going to, stand by anybody letting him, be second string either. So, you have to come into a situation where both these guys and everything, they're going to be utilized. Both of them are. A lot of times I see on Twitter, stuff like that, people are kind of siding with one quarterback or the other. But in terms of both of them, I could see both of them playing. A lot of people think, okay, he could probably play wide receiver, trick plays, stuff like that. But Jordan Travis is a quarterback. He's grown a lot as a quarterback, improvising outside the pocket, really utilizing his skills downfield and utilizing his legs if needed. But if Milton is 75% healthy or better, it's even better for Florida State. So it's going to be a great competition to kind of see how those two play out.
You talked about the Coker Jameis competition, and I don't know how well Coker truly practiced or not, but sometimes people are just gamers, man. Sometimes practice isn't the end all be all. Jameis wasn't a very good practice player, and then he went on the field and threw for 6 touchdowns a game in college. It just was, absurd that, coming out in the third quarter of a lot of games. So some people just, when that light comes on, and I'm not saying that either one of them are not that guy or, are the other one. I don't remember what the number is, but Milton's won something like 26, 28 games, a lot of games, and has that experience. And so, leave it to FSU's fan base, really any fan base. You got Gator fans asking for Richardson. So it's the same thing, but leave it to the fan base or any fan base, like I said, to already want the backup before the starter is even announced. Cause the backup's always better, just ask Twitter. So QB battle. Okay. So the guys spent some time in Jacksonville this week. Richie, thoughts on the Jacksonville practices? There's a big 904, 561 battle that goes on the timeline 800% of the time, and so and while they're fighting, the 813 is still the best area code in the state. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the guys going to Jacksonville? Did you see anything, hear anything there that was of interest to you?
Yeah, the 407 is the best in the state. But in terms of Florida State going to Jacksonville, it is what it is to me. Obviously Willie Taggart took Florida State to IMG a couple of years. Last year, weird COVID year, obviously no spring in a weird fall practice. I think it's nice. I don't think it's the difference between winning games or losing games or anything along those lines. I think it's good to get them out of their element into, a new surrounding I think they were practicing at UNF. It's interesting. I heard the first practice got really chippy. A couple fights broke out, which is not to be unexpected in fall camp. Anyone who's played football, even at the youth level, high school, I never played at college, but know plenty of people who did. And, fall camp sucks, right? You're 4 straight weeks of just practicing in the heat against the same people every day, and things get chippy. And it sounded like things got really chippy that first day in Jacksonville and calmed down a little bit the second day. But I think it's great for recruiting. Again, just get that presence because, Jacksonville's, kind of a Gator stronghold, right? UF kind of owns that area. So I love that Norvell's trying to get a presence in there. As far as the team itself goes, it sounds like the first practice was not a good one. Again, got really chippy. Sounded like the second one got a little better. And it'll be interesting to see because, again, this is just the first week of camp. We have, 21 days till we kick off against Notre Dame. So there'll be plenty more to go. But I'm not a fan and I'm not against, going to like Jacksonville or Bradenton or wherever for practice. I just think it's something that, coaches are going to do just to test their players and challenge them, I assume. What were your thoughts, Taylor?
A lot of people were, indifferent about going to Jacksonville. They wanted to kind of stay closer to home to Tallahassee, but you kind of have to understand this coaching staff is really making an emphasis on getting that road environment, feeling uncomfortable, getting in uncomfortable situations. And when you look at the schedule, we're 35 days away from traveling to Wake Forest for our first true road game. And that's going to be a really hostile environment, especially after playing Notre Dame. You go to play Jacksonville State and then you turn back around and you play Wake Forest on the road. It's going to be a great environment, hopefully, when Florida State goes in there and they're going to be prepared. But you can't have those mental lapses. And, of course, you talked about the chippy first day in Jacksonville. And you got to learn from those mistakes. A lot of times the penalties were kind of pushing us back last year. And you kind of have to roll the punches a little bit. And hopefully everything can kind of play out for this team. And hopefully they're a little bit more prepared this season.
Yeah, I like getting away. I think that getting away and, like you said, getting uncomfortable is good. I mean, you have some distractions by just being kind of out of your element, but you also take away some distractions, right? Like you're not back at your dorm, you're not back at your apartment or whatever. So I think I think there are pros to it. Is that going to be the difference in Florida State winning 4 games and 10 games? I mean, probably not, but I think it's good for the team to face a little bit of very minor adversity, right? Like having to take an hour and a half bus ride over to Jacksonville or whatever. Is that 2 hours? I don't know how far that is.
It's every bit of 2 hours, man. Jacksonville is massive. I remember I had some friends there at UNF, and I'm like, oh, that'll be a quick 90-minute trip. No, it is every bit of 2 hours to get into Duval County.
So we had some drama this week off the field. You talked about practice getting a little bit chippy. Some drama off the field with Jaron Willis. Taylor, I'll start with you just because I know you're really big into the recruiting side of things like that. We thought we were getting a bunch of tweets on the timeline, a bunch of people saying, hey, get ready. He's about to flip. He's flipping today. He's flipping at 2 p.m. I saw the tweets.
He got me.
And then 2 p.m. came and went. No flip. Thoughts on Willis, who's currently committed to Georgia Tech?
Well, like you said, he's currently committed to Georgia Tech. Florida State is really his dream school. Of course, he is current teammates with Quayshawn Sapp, the 4-star offensive line commit. They're going to be playing him at guard this next season whenever he comes in and everything. But, you kind of have to figure out what is a priority to him. A lot of position changes were kind of in discussion there where they were kind of recruiting him as more of a safety, hybrid linebacker kind of deal. Florida State is recruiting him more as a linebacker. So he mostly prefers that safety position. So, of course, you're going to kind of have to lean towards Georgia Tech. He has great relationships with the staff. It's kind of unknown right now if he's going to still visit the Notre Dame game. So that's something you have to watch out for. A lot of crystal balls were flying in for Florida State coming into that decision. And a lot of people thought he was going to flip. This is a situation where Florida State's really trying hard to recruit some of these linebacker prospects. And, it's still not over. It's a very long recruitment there. He did commit to Georgia Tech before he even took any of the official visits this June. And, it's going to be a great kind of thing to kind of figure out what Florida State wants to do at that linebacker position as they hope to get at least 1 or maybe even 2 linebacker prospects for this recruiting cycle.
You're on mute, TJ.
I was like, no, I'm not. But I was on the actual mic. If you had a crystal ball, where does he end up?
I think that he signs with Florida State by signing day.
I like it. Richie, you have thoughts on that? I know you don't watch any of these recruits. You just want to talk about how you Clemson's at 6 AP top 5 finishes, by the way. Bama's at 1. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. So if Clemson can rail off 8 more, they'll be in good shape.
Which won't happen. Yeah,
I think they lose in the first round of the playoffs this year, and so they won't. So they'll lose the streak this year. It's bold prediction on August 15th. Mark that tape, Harlan, because I want to call my shot on that.
But going back to Willis, man. Yeah, he had everybody fooled, and he kind of announced, a big announcement Friday, and everyone assumed you saw the crystal balls start flying for Florida State. The entire 24/7 community was projecting the flip, and kind of like Taylor at Norville Central said, he would love to play defensive back in college, but his body is not that of a defensive back. He's going to play linebacker, whether it's at Georgia Tech or Florida State. That's just where he's going to end up. And honestly, I think I hate to say it, this is almost a referendum on Chris Marv, and you got to land somebody. He was one of the assistants I was super high on when he came in. And he's just not getting it done on the recruiting trail right now. Again, it's early. We have, signing day is not till December. So there's still plenty of time. But I think Coach Marv really needs to step it up. And if he can get a guy like Willis to flip, who's, a top 150 player in the country, who I think would be really good addition to guys like Travis Hunter and Sam McCall, this defense has a chance. This defensive signing class could be really freaking good. And there's definitely a spot for Jaron Willis. I've heard people say, all right, let's move on from him. He toyed with us. Like, no, it's the coach's jobs to make these kids want to come to Florida State. If you only went after kids that, were no-blooded or true Noles, wanted to be all in, that signing class might not look great most years, especially coming off a 3-win season. Norville's out there punching above his weight class. We're going to talk about a crystal ball for a big-time offensive lineman that just went in. He's doing a phenomenal job. I don't think you pump the brakes at all on Jaron Willis right now, because he instantly improves your linebacker room, and he's a guy we need. I think we get him still, but he's committed to Georgia Tech, and you'd much rather be the school that has a player committed to them than the school trying to make the flip any day.
Talking about the crystal ball that was put in for an offensive lineman, Steve Wiltfong at 247 Sports, which we've had Sinone and Newberg and those guys on, Blaustein as well, put in a prediction 2 days ago at 9:18 for Elijah Pritchett, 4-star offensive tackle out of Columbus, Georgia, to Florida State. Florida State's going up against Bama in that battle. So that seems daunting for sure. But Wiltfong's at a 96.59% accuracy, does not put them in and miss very often. He's missed 10 out of 293 crystal balls. Obviously would be a massive signing for Florida State if they were able to pick up Elijah Pritchett. And it's a long season. And so we'll see how things look as Bama really starts to apply the pressure. But thoughts on Pritchett, Taylor? Is it realistic that Florida State could really land him?
Well, first off, I did kind of talk to Pritchett a little bit. He kind of went over a little bit of his decision date that he's going to be scheduled for. He's kind of looking towards that mid-September, late September kind of deal. He wants to see a little bit more visits to a couple of schools before he kind of makes his final decision. Of course, the 3 schools that you have to watch out for in that recruitment are basically Georgia, Alabama, and Florida State. It's great that Florida State is able to get a couple of crystal balls and absolutely get him on campus. I think it's 3 times in the summer. So that's very impressive for Coach Norvell and this staff to really take their power and kind of get him on campus. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But I do like where Florida State stands right now. I know that he went to the Alabama cookout a couple weeks ago. He loves that staff. He loves Nick Saban and everything like that. But personally, I think that the more offensive linemen you get, the better. Of course, you got a guy like Eston Harris is also another guy they're looking at as well. He's going to be deciding closer to his birthday in October. It's another guy that you can look out for if Pritchett doesn't pan out as much. But, of course, Florida State's sitting good with, I think, 6 offensive linemen commits as of right now. So, and they could easily get 8 right now if you're really thinking about it. So we'll definitely see how that plays out in the coming days.
So I have a question for you, because the scenario I see playing out, I think we're going to have more offensive linemen committed to Florida State at some point this cycle than actually signed with Florida State. I think Coach Norvell, Coach Atkins are doing a phenomenal job. Like this is an issue. We need to fix it. We're going to attack it with bodies. But naturally, some people are going to look at this and say, man, they got all these other guys. This school that's recruiting me only has 2 offensive linemen committed. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Do you think everyone committed now sticks, or do you think there's going to be some attrition? Because I'd have a hard time seeing us signing all of these guys right now.
I don't really want to name names, but there's 2 attrition players that I think could be out of this class. But like I said, I don't really want to name names.
I'll name him. Alu Bob's one of them because we got to watch out for Georgia. That's a big one, and I hope we can keep him. Do you think we can hang on to him?
Personally, I've spoken to Ba a couple of times. I've messaged him most of the time and kind of keep in communication with him most of the time. And he doesn't really have anything with the Georgia rumors as of right now. He's still trying to play everything out. He's still going to be attending the Notre Dame game. He's still going to be there and everything like that. But, you have to watch out for everything. They're a big SEC school. Of course, they're a big power. Offensive line has always played well. But we're going to have to see. It's going to be a hard thing to go through. And, of course, with Antavius Woody, is he going to be going to the defensive line? Is he going to stay on the offensive line? Is his grades going to work out? We'll kind of see how that pans out. But, it's just going to be a thing you have to watch out for. And like I said, Eston Harris could just easily slip into that role and be able to commit to the school. He's already named Florida State a top school of his, and he really likes Coach Norvell and Coach Atkins. So that's a name to watch out for if Pritchett weren't, to the side or anything. But we'll see. Pritchett is going to the Notre Dame game, so that is something to watch out for there. Hopefully he can bring on his teammate Darren Reed as well, a class of 23 prospect as well, and hopefully we can get a little bit more standing on him.
I don't think you've done your official prediction just yet, but a lot of people have asked how many do we need to win to keep these guys? We've asked basically everybody that: Newberg, Sonone, Blostein. Obviously there's the side of kids don't want to go to your school if you win 2 or 3 games, but there's the other side of they understand that we won 3 games last year as well and are still committing. But I don't know if you've given your official predictions just yet, but give us your thoughts on how Florida State's season kind of pans out.
So I will say this. I do speak with a lot of the recruits a lot of times, and a guy like Omar Graham Jr., he talks about how a lot of times when people come to this organization and they're able to commit to the university, Florida State has had 3 straight losing seasons. They have to figure out everything consistency-wise. You're bringing in basically 3 new head coaches in the last 4 seasons. Something's got to give with that time, and tradition has always been a big thing for Florida State. Winning seasons, we're not used to losing. We're not used to firing coaches. We're used to consecutive bowl seasons, and it just hasn't happened in Tallahassee as of late. And I think as of right now, you're looking at a team that really hasn't had 6 wins in the past 4 seasons. Back when we went 6-7, I think 6-6 is a decent record enough to be able to keep most of these guys. I'm not going to say you're going to keep them all. Of course, a guy like Travis Hunter, you may never lose him. We could go 0-12, and he may never even bite to decommit. But we'll see how everything plays out. But I do think 6-6 is a decent record for us going forward.
I think if you can get to 6-6, then you get that bowl game against somebody that's just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Then you 7-6 just sounds so good. Obviously, if they could do any more than 6, that'd be great. I think to win more than 6, you have to get a big upset somewhere. We'll talk a little more schedule, not this week upcoming, but the week after for everybody else. Okay, you run Norvell Central at Norvell Central everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. 10,000 followers on Instagram. Obviously, you've really grown there and you do a great job with content over there and connected with a lot of recruits and stuff. Talk to us a little bit about the Instagram. How did you start it? What kind of content do you feature, just for those maybe not familiar with it?
Yeah.
How did you grow, and how do you like having a second full-time job like we kind of do with this podcast now too?
Yeah. So, of course, it's a really rewarding process because I've always been passionate about Florida State. Coming into creating the Instagram account, I created it back in December of 2019 with Norvell was hired. I saw a little bit downward trend in the program. I thought that there was a way that I could affect and positively impact people, whether it be just the casual fan, whether it be a fan that doesn't even know college football. I'm always going to be able to, kind of promote a positive light towards the program. And I think y'all do a tremendous job as well with, promoting different sports as well within Florida State, because those sports need love too. Of course, the football program has been kind of a downward spiral the last couple of years, and hopefully we can be able to get back to being elite. We're not going to be like Miami fans and say we're back, every year and not win the ACC, but that's beyond the point. But I did, kind of create the Instagram account to, just kind of give back to everyone. Whether you support Knowles 24/7 or War Chant or Double Fries No Slaw, Fifth Quarter, any of those platforms, I always support anybody that supports Florida State. And my goal is just to effectively and positively impact other people. I'm not quite at 10,000 followers, but like I said, if I have 10 followers or whether I have 10,000 followers, I'm going to be the same person, positive, and just kind of share positive light on the program. I'm currently, if I remember correctly, I'm at 9,666 the last time I checked. So I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. We appreciate, you share a lot of our stuff and we appreciate it for sure.
Of course.
We're the same way, man. We've had people from 247 on, Trey, Roland on several times. We're cool with everybody. Like we have, we don't really, we're just a couple of fans. And so we don't really feel like we have like inside info or anything like that. Like we're just kind of like talking FSU. And if people like that, great. If they don't, no big deal. We're pretty cool with it. So yeah, we've had people from the Rivals Network on. We were previewing other games. We've had people from the SB Nation website on. We were previewing different games. People obviously from ESPN, and just, we're just here to talk FSU, and we don't care who it is. And I love what you do. I think it's really, really neat. And so I wanted to give you a chance to shout that out. And hopefully some of our folks that watch and listen and stuff will go check it out. Go check out Norvell Central, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Is there Facebook or no? I keep saying that, but is there?
I do not have a Facebook. I haven't got around to it. I just created my YouTube.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst.
About 2 weeks ago. So YouTube is a whole different animal.
No, Facebook's good. We get a lot of people that view from there. Chris actually shouted us out, said that he knows you through the Spiritix.
Yeah, of course.
So no, we appreciate all of those guys. Hey, we appreciate you for coming on and hanging out for a couple of minutes tonight, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you in Tallahassee. You have to come by the tailgate if you're there for the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
But come hang out, come hit us up. We'll buy you some free chicken, bro. Always double fries.
Yeah, man. Of course. I appreciate both of y'all having me on. It's a pleasure to talk Florida State football. It's a pleasure to meet both of y'all in person and everything. And hopefully we can kind of get to the Notre Dame game and have a good time there and hopefully come out with a win.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we want it bad. So thank you so much again for hanging out, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Taylor of Norvell Central. He was really good, man. I didn't realize I knew, but he's talking to all these recruits and stuff, man. I'm deleting Sonone out of my phone and I'm going to just text him, bro.
He's
that kid a crystal
cool.
ball.
And like you said, I love, we're like you and I, Guthrie's is great. I love them. They're a phenomenal sponsor, but we don't do this for the money or whatever. We just love talking Florida State sports. And I think that's what helps kind of separate us. And a guy like Taylor from Norvell Central, he's got a bunch of followers. He might make some extra money off of it, but that's not why we're doing it. We're just all fans who love talking Florida State and sharing as much content as possible. And like you said, if people like it, that's awesome. If not, no big deal. That's cool too. There's something for everybody out there. And I love how big the Florida State podcast and social media market is for everybody, that if you look hard enough, it's not hard. You can find a lot of good content out there. So that was really cool having Taylor from Norvell Central on today.
Yeah, no, just something different. Media is ever evolving and ever changing. And I think that people get in their mind that you have to interview this guy, or you have to interview this guy, or you have to be a credentialed outlet, or you have to be this, that, or the other. Some of our most fun interviews have been talking with the guy that covers Brooks Koepka. He just sits on Twitter and tracks him, and then Taylor from Norvell Central. He's not a credentialed outlet media guy, but he's connected and he has takes on Florida State. I'm down to talk to anyone that wants to talk about Florida State. You're welcome on this podcast, man. We're just fans and we're here to hang out, man. So no, I thought it was great. I loved it. And some good updates there, some good insight on some of those recruits, some stuff in camp. Really enjoyed that for sure. Did you watch any preseason football this weekend? Did you check anything out? Did you watch a Bucs game?
No,
nothing.
why am I going to watch preseason football? It's the most annoying thing in the world to me. I've watched Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys on HBO. That's been phenomenal, by the way. So I don't know if you guys are out there watching Hard Knocks, but that's been phenomenal. No, I will not watch probably a second of NFL football until Thursday night when the Bucks host the Cowboys to kick off the season. That I sold my $50 tickets for $400 each. So I'm feeling good about that.
I watched some preseason. I watched the Bucks and the Saints games. So
Saints, there you go.
Yeah. So like I watched both of those. I figured those were the most. Well, I watched whatever today's was too because I tweeted it for bookies, but I wasn't really watching it.
So it's got to be Jameis at this point, right? For New Orleans.
I mean, he was better. I mean, he led them down on a really good drive. Twice they both got both touchdowns with him in. An absolute terrible. I know that we always make, what do you call it? Like you always like make the excuses for Jameis, like when he throws a pick. If I could find the picture right now to show you guys,
where it was in his receiver's hands.
Yeah, like
and then it gets intercepted. Yeah.
So like
it was like, remember the OJ Howard play where he caught the ball, put it
on
behind his back, and then the freaking defender catches it, and it's like that's not on Jameis, y'all. I don't know what to say. That was clearly, and that happened a lot in Tampa. And like you mentioned, people always blame Jameis. Yeah, he had some bad decisions, bad throws. He had issues with turnovers, but a lot of them were not his fault.
Yeah,
it's just frustrating if you don't actually watch the game.
Yeah, he still threw way too many that were his fault.
Yeah,
I mean, no doubt about it. And they were inexcusable. But like Trevor Sikkema, who used to be with Pewter Report, did like a breakdown of how many he thought were truly Jameis's fault. And I think what he came up with was like 18 of the 30, which is still way too many.
A lot, yeah.
But you throw 33 touchdowns and 18 picks, like that's a little bit more palatable. This was the play.
Yeah, look at that.
The other day. Like this turned into an interception. And so like I have a really tough time blaming Jameis for this.
That's on the money. Yeah, that's a great
throw. Like and if he catches that, you can see they're down to the 20-yard line. Like there's like a minute left. They go score again and they win the game. So anyway, not that winning the game matters. But yeah, I thought the Saints game was entertaining just because you had the Jameis Hill battle. And then, just wanted to, I mean, I'm always going to watch whatever the Bucks do. So hard to take much away. Like the Bucks starters didn't play much at all. And Brady got one series, I think, and got sacked.
Brady took more snaps on the sideline with our rookie center that he was just trying to help out than he did in the actual game.
So yeah, like it just there wasn't a lot to take from the Bucks game at all. I think the defense is going to look good again this year. They wish they didn't look good for the first half of last year, and then they kind of got hot. But I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be really, really good. For the length of the year.
And it's wild that this Bucks team is the first team that we can go back and look upon that brings back all 22 starters from a Super Bowl championship team. That's unheard of, literally. I'm so pumped. I will be in Tampa for, I don't know, I definitely go to the Saints game. I might find another one to come down for, but I'm pumped for the season.
Can we bet on the Super Bowl right now? Are you willing to take us against the field?
No, I think that'd be a very foolish bet.
What about we'll bet Bucks versus Chiefs? Like I'll take the Chiefs right now, you take the Bucks right now, and then if anyone else is in it, then the bet's canceled.
I'll take that. Yeah. All
right, $50.
How about $100?
$100
directly to boosters. So either you or I give an extra pledge to boosters of an extra $100.
Phew, I like it. All right.
If either one wins it, if either one does,
so like if the Chiefs
renew our booster memberships.
But if the Chiefs beat the Saints, like the bet doesn't matter.
No, it still does. Yeah, if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl,
so
I'll still pay it. Yeah.
Okay. Chiefs. So I'll take the Chiefs.
Doesn't matter who they play against. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the Chiefs. You take the Bucks. If anyone else wins, the bet's over. We'll just make If anyone else wins, Harlan pays the extra $100.
I think that's fair. Or you and I can just go $50 each at that point. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, man, I like that. I do like the Bucks' chances. I do think they are one of the best teams in the league. I think the Packers are going to be a force. I think the Steelers are going to be really good. The Chiefs are probably the best team in the league. The Bucks just got hot at the right time last year. And I definitely think they can do it again, but by no means am I going to allow myself to expect a Bucks Super Bowl. because I'm not getting let down, man. Because last year I came, especially even in the postseason, we were doing our show. I said every week, I'm like, yeah, I think it's the Packers and Chiefs, the best two teams. I'm just enjoying the ride and truly getting to enjoy that ride to win the Super Bowl. It was phenomenal. If it happens again, that's great, but I'm not going to expect it.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs were 7-5 at one point, and then ended up winning out from there, right? And we set up for that 7-5 game, like, they're probably going to lose in the wild card. So yeah, somebody just mentioned the Lightning going
Lightning
back
and Bucs. Yeah, let's go
as well. Okay. So like, as I know you're a football guy, but like every team that I support like has won a Super Bowl or won a championship. I really want the Rays this year. Like I want that world. It's like the Infinity. It's like the last Infinity Stone. Like
there's
Lakers,
Lakers,
Lightning,
right?
Yeah. Lakers, Lightning, Knowles, Bucks. I need the World Series.
I've given up on the Magic, man. But man, Jalen Suggs is nasty.
He's a force for a long time.
I can't believe he fell to us at 5, and I'm happy Scotty Barnes is doing really well. Shout out Scotty Barnes. He went viral a couple days ago with a really veteran like turnaround step back shot and just put it in, and then did his typical Scotty, like let the guy who's defending him know, like, yeah, I just got the best of you. Shout out Patrick Williams had a phenomenal putback slam in the Vegas Summer League. A lot of Knowles. Trent Forrest is having a phenomenal Summer League right now, scored like 19 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, like just a phenomenal showing by Coach Ham. I saw a great picture. It was like Patrick Williams, Trent Forrest, Fianu Kamengeli, Xavier Otonmays, a bunch of Florida State guys all going to dinner in Vegas at the Summer League. And it's like all those guys are at Florida State in the past 5 years, and they're all out there together. That was really cool to see.
It's really absurd when you think about the talent that has come through this program. We obviously talk a lot about football, but it's pretty absurd. Hey, shout out soccer. FSU soccer starts on Thursday with a big matchup against Texas A&M.
Number 1 in the country.
Yeah. So I think Florida State is, right?
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, no,
do you know where A&M is ranked?
I do not. I'll look it up while you do that.
So big matchup there. We'll have an announcement. I haven't talked to these guys about it yet, but like we've got some stuff brewing with some on-campus athletics around FSU. So anyway, got some news that we'll announce soon, probably on social media. Do you have anything else before we get out of here? Kind of a shorter show today, less than an hour. I love it. Anything else? Any shout outs? Did you find A&M's ranking?
I do not see it. They only have the top 12 on the NCAA website, and A&M's not in there. So don't worry about it. But yeah, shout out wise, not much. Like I said, I'm excited. We are 18 or 19 days away from being in Tallahassee. It's going to be a blast of a weekend between me trying to compete against world-class athletes, to our tailgate where I'm probably going to have 20 chicken tenders at least, and the game itself. And then I'm excited for our first show. We'll probably do it that Monday right after the game. I'll probably get up there or get home early. I want to leave Tallahassee first thing Monday morning. I hate hanging around, but I'm excited. It's going to be a fun week. We might go to dinner with a former guest of the show that Friday night, which would be pretty cool if we can make that happen too.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be up there. Bro, Texas A&M is ranked 9th. And like somebody just put it in there. Like I'm looking.
I saw someone said that, but I did not see that. What I was looking at. But
preseason poll.
I'll take it as word.
So a top 10 matchup on Thursday night. That'll be on ESPN. Now you were right. You were right. Richie he's had a few too many IPAs. Like not quite like that North Carolina game, but a few. Hey, I got a shout out or two. Richie said I've been playing. I'm so stupid, but I've been playing FSU's schedule on NCAA 14. I'm 5-0, so we beat Notre Dame. We won the first 5 games. We got a big matchup with North Carolina coming up. Subscribe to our YouTube or turn on alerts for Periscope or whatever. You can see all those games. You can go back and watch the old ones as well. And
so is Clemson going to be a lunchtime or a primetime game? I feel like most people
watch 5-0.
I feel like when you go on at noon, like the feed just blows up. Like everyone's on their lunch break. It's like, I got to watch this.
Well, what happens is I do edit the time of the games. Like even if I played at noon, I turn it off system settings and I put it to like where it would really be. So like I made the Syracuse game 12. But like the Wake Forest game, I made a 3:30. Like I try to keep that accurate. Notre Dame, I made a night game, even though I played at like 3 p.m. or something. So I don't know. If we go into that Clemson game undefeated, it's definitely going to be an 8 p.m. game. So so go check those out. I do a write-up on them as well on doublefriesnoslaw.com.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, they're so dumb. But like
it.
gives you like the recap. And if you don't want to watch the whole game, if you go to doublefriesnoslaw.com, click on the recap of the game. All the highlights are there, like time-stamped for you, and you can just click the YouTube and see the highlight or whatever. So I'm having fun with it. I'll probably do Florida's games next and do it from the roll-ups account just because it is kind of fun to do if I have enough time. I have 7 more games for FSU to play. Some of them are going to be really, really fun, like that North Carolina game coming up next, the Clemson, the Miami, and the Florida games. Others of them are a complete drag, like when I have to play UMass, which isn't even UMass. It's like FCS East. So like those are terrible, but the big games are going to be fun, and go check that out. Other shout out to the roll up, new episode debuted last week. Shout out CJ Wilson and Larion, jumping on the new roll up. If you were subscribed to the Big 3 roll up or followed it on anything, everything is just kind of like converted over. You don't have to go resubscribe or anything like that. But I thought CJ and Larion did a really good job. Episode 1, with obviously Corey, Uncle Silk. Some good talk about where all 3 teams are. They didn't get so much into the banter, so much into like the trash talk just yet, but I think that's coming as they get a little bit more comfortable.
So
but a really, really good first show.
Quick correction, A&M is actually number 13 in the preseason poll. So like I said, outside of the top 12, Florida State's actually second behind
Shoot me
Santa
that link.
Clara, who beat them in the national title game in PKs this past year, unfortunately.
So I don't know where you're seeing this, but like I just texted it to you. Like this is the preseason poll that we're looking at, right?
Is that the coaches poll?
Are you looking at the men's or the women's?
I doubt we don't have a men's soccer team, so it's.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, I guess there's multiple polls, is what you're telling me.
So the poll that I looked at, I was correct, but also the shout out to our listener who had A&M at 9 because that was also correct in the poll TJ sent me.
So yeah, when I'm on NCAA rankings, I got A&M at 9. So I don't know what kind of janky poll you're using over there. Oh, United Soccer Coaches.
You don't trust topdrawersoccer.com because that's where I go for all my soccer.
I trust NCAA.com.
That's where I go for all my soccer information.
Shout out the NCAA for having us ranked higher. So anyway, big matchup for them this weekend. And shout out the roll up. Go check that out if you haven't just yet. Go subscribe over there. Stay tuned. A couple of you have slid in our DMs talking about the tailgate. If you're going to be in Tallahassee, I don't want 1 million people there, so we haven't really put out like an official announcement. There's no tickets or anything, but if you want to slide by, just slide in our DMs. We'll try and coordinate it and make it happen. Excited to get up to Tallahassee for the game. Wake Forest is now a hostile environment. Richie said that, Baker, not me.
No, I did not say that. That was Taylor who said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not.
But at the same time, we should not underestimate Snuggy Hill because it can get pretty rowdy in Winston-Salem up there.
That's not a Taylor. We're taking a pay cut. We didn't pay him anything. But
that was not me who said Wake Forest was hostile environment. That was not me at all. I want terrible. That for the record.
All right. There's some shout outs. Anything else? You want to pick a song tonight? Go ahead and pick a song. It's all you.
Last shout out. I'm excited. Bachelor in Paradise starts tomorrow. Really pumped for that. The season finale of White Lotus on HBO Max. I don't know if you watched that. That's a great show. That drops at 9:00 tonight, so an hour from now. A song. I don't know what. So I told my wife we have a rock festival coming to Orlando like next month, and Limp Bizkit's going to be there. And I think I'm going to take Lindsay because we both used to love Limp Bizkit. So give me this is a family-friendly show. Just play Nookie. I was going to play break stuff, but that's even worse. So you can play edited version. I don't care. But I'm just want to hear some Limp Bizkit because I'm probably going to go see them next month.
All right, Harlan, play us out. We will see you guys next Sunday night for a special episode. I don't want to tell you guys exactly what it's going to be, but I promise you don't want to miss it. It'll be more than just me and Richie here. So there's a reason to come back. Come hang out next Sunday night. Until then, we will talk to you guys later. Go Noles.